Right. So, hi everybody, and hi Nicole. This will be a short little interview on what it means and what it takes to be a next culture nomad. And this is something I've been diving into and have been feeling a lot of excitement about the possibility of living like this. And so naturally had a lot of questions. And I wanted to ask somebody who's been living it for multiple years. And yeah, just a few words about Nicole. As far as I know her, she's been really deep into this next culture way of living, which means being really connected with feelings and being informed by that and living life consciously from this way of feeling. And then she combines it with living nomadically. So yeah, how is that for an introduction, Nicole? And if you like, please add something about yourself if you feel like.
Mm, thank you, Wout. Yeah, thank you for inviting me to do this. It I've been living as a next culture nomad for about 3 years now, and what I would add to what you said about it's about living with feelings, with conscious feelings, and this is such a big part of it. It it living as a nomad using next culture, using possibility management tools and distinctions and thought maps and processes. I mean, it's a lot like anyone can travel and uproot and just be a digital nomad, say. And and maybe a person who's doing that is maybe got some unconscious competence or maybe some conscious competence about using their feelings as resources for taking responsibility. And what I would add to that is that it's like, for me, it's a big experiment in radically relying on my bright principles, on my archetypal lineage, and on my feelings, and on my ability to discern my feelings from my emotions so that I'm using my emotions for healing and not for trying to handle my life, and using my feelings about the here and now as as energy and information to go to choose how I go. And there are days when my box starts freaking out, like my survival system, my survival mechanisms all kick in, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I suck at it. This is one of the sentences that comes up, that I'm learning how to be like, oh, that's my box. That's my survival strategy. That's a part I'm not going to heal that away. This or maybe I will, but it's so far it's here over and over and over. And and to see it as a survival strategy and get this gap where I can then say, okay, what do I want right now? What do I want to create right now? And it's one of the best ways that I've come up with to be in a constant experiment about shifting into radical responsibility and out of these victim, uh, like responsible victim stories. And especially for me, because one of the patterns that's persisting for me is this low income, financial low income pattern that I know you and I've talked about, how to do it, how to generate, how to have money be a side effect of living full out and bringing my non-material value to the world. This is ongoing experiments. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems to be somehow working out for you, having this ability to disidentify from these stories and having the possibility that these maps and all these feelings give you to live consciously in this way nomadically. And I was doing like a tiny bit of research before this call, and I was reading that that there's research being done with other nomads about how do you do this next culture nomad living. And there was a chat about building a kit for people and what are the most common and most powerful tools and kits that people can use when they want to step into this next culture nomading. And I wonder if something came out of that conversation and if there's actually a kit or a tool or something that comes to mind that is really potent for this way of living.
It, I mean, the clarity is still in development, but what I've got about it so far is that when I think about the map of five bodies, there's a physical body, a mental body, an emotional body, an energetic body, and an archetypal body. It's almost as if there's a physical kit. You know, I have my backpack and I have my practical communication tools and my, you know, because to be a next culture nomad means minimalizing, minimizing what I carry because I don't want to have all this luggage and I don't need very much. So this is one fifth maybe of the adventure in discovering what is my kit. And then there's my energetic toolkit. There's my energetic tool belt with my bag of things, with my sword of clarity, with my golden pearls, so that I can be, you know, taking care of this, of all of my bodies, especially my energetic bodies, so that I can be going at my own pace and in my own timing, so that I can be discovering more about the energetic parts that I to survive that I moved out of myself, and energetic uh, structures that I built to survive that are still kind of in the way of me being actually an authentic adult. And then there are, you know, my emotional tools. And some of this mixes in with the different bodies. For example, I carry a rage towel. I carry I carry a big, like a pile of, I call them P squares actually, because where I got them was they're basically ripped up or cut up flannel sheets, and this is instead of carrying Kleenex and toilet paper, it's like all-purpose bodily fluids catches. So my emotional healing process dojo kit, and then I have a jar. So I have the jar as my, you know, barf or spit bucket, and my towel, and then you know, a lot of my attention is where can I go for my next process. Like you can see, I'm in a used bookstore right now, and I didn't come here for a process. I came here to come on this call, and also I hold space for Fear Club in 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 the next, starting in the next 10 minutes. And so to come somewhere where I can be loud, where I can be on Wi-Fi, where I can use a bathroom, where I can plug my computer in, this is all part of it. And this ties into the money experiment in that if I had more money, I would just get an Airbnb that was, you know, had a certain distance from neighbors so I could be loud there. Because I don't, I'm I'm not making the money yet or using my money for that. I need to have all these conversations, and there are definitely box expanding conversations to say, would this work? Do you have possibilities for me? To people who are, you know, I come across in my travels, and I found this bookstore yesterday when I came here to find another book to read from the Possibilitator library list, and made a cool connection that it just happened that when I was looking for a space this morning, when a lot of cafes are loud and busy and some of the quieter places aren't open yet, she said I could come here, and here I am for the next while. And it's the furthest to the back room, so they'll actually, somebody just came in now, but they're still least likely to be interrupted, and she, yeah, she let me into her game world like this. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an adventure, ongoing adventure with lots of different, yeah, lots of different yeah, lots of different parts to this toolkit about how to really get it to work.
Yeah, that
especially with low financial resources.
yeah, that's great. And what I hear you say is like a big part of it is really owning your identity as a possibilitator and just sharing with people what you're up to. So you actually get these possibilities almost attracted to you or reflected back to you. And
Yeah, this has been, I want to say something about that. This has been a big part of my experimenting, especially coming out of the ETBN lab that I was at in Eastern California a couple of weeks ago. This culture to culture conversation where I'm not, it's so easy for me in particular because of how my box and my underworld work to slide into talking about it and telling people about it as if it's the thing they should be doing, as if it's right, as if it's good to be a possibility manager, rather than having a being to being conversation where it doesn't, I'm not, I'm coming from my own culture, but that's not what I'm bringing. I'm bringing radical relating. I'm sourcing radical relating. I'm sourcing a, a completely different kind of conversation
mm,
than the hey, who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing? Where's the best? Blah blah. Um, can I get a ride?
yeah,
It's to be
which so
really real with my feelings, with and not and it's subtle. It's really learning how to navigate. Is am I coming from a victim space or am I
mm,
creating?
yeah, which seems to really kind of synchronize these opportunities and people towards you that offer you this next step or place.
Yeah.
And from that, I wanna end this little exploration and go on to one last question, which is, see, I have this desire to travel around as a next culture nomad and spread this ability for people to feel their feelings and help them with that and offer workshops as I travel. And I have this ideal fantasy world where I'll be so known that I get invited to places. Or otherwise, it's really hard to get into a next culture place that wants me, because like I'd have to send out a lot of mails, and people don't know me or my work. So like, I just wonder how it goes. I see people like you, and Dor is also very much on this path of traveling around and giving all these workshops about feelings. And I'm like, how does it go? How do you end up in uh for you from Canada to all these places? I see Dor in Guatemala, and then he's in San Francisco, and it's like, how does it go? What makes it work? How do you get invited?
Yeah, I'm still figuring that out. I In a way I've just started to be invited to places. And there are a lot of gaps where I haven't been invited anywhere. And for me what I do is I often I'm invited to stay with friends. So I take them up on that and I live with them and I don't push my culture on them. I do my thing and then I share time with them. And my question is, how can I be in service to them and their lives and their work? And when I don't have a friend in the area where I can land and really make myself welcome because I am so authentically in service to them, also with clarity that I'm committed to these calls, so I will sometimes shut myself in a room and where would be, will this work for you? There might be noises and they might be scary for you to hear. If you have any questions, like, will this work for you?
Mm,
and and then the other thing that I've been experimenting with is to go to offer myself as a work trade. It's a great way to learn about projects. It's a great way to build outer permaculture skills, to just go and be, you know, find a place where, for example, I'm at a community or at a permaculture project right now where they want they ask for 4 hours a day from me in exchange for sleeping, like really basic sleeping, really basic food, I've offered them a little more money for the food because they just to make it work based on what their tradition is with work trade people. And yeah, really it's about making myself valuable, and then doing my work on the side. And every now and then I have a culture to culture conversation with the people at the project, with the originators of the project, and I might offer a map, or and it just starts small with what I have and what I'm skilled at offering, and how it goes, using my feelings to guide, and just really making sure that I keep my center. Really, this is like number one. Where is my center? And right now, my center is going a bit to the time because my fear club starts in 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah. This is a good place to wrap up this short fire exploration of next culture nomadism. And for the listeners, I also want to add that this is all based in a possibility management context. And there's been a lot of terms named here, like culture to culture conversation or radical relating, that I will link in the description, so you can figure out what is next culture. And really, possibility management is a whole new way of living in life from a conscious space, using your feelings consciously. And perhaps there'll be coming more of that on this channel. So I'd just like to thank you, Nicole, for being on here today and sharing about next culture nomading.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. I feel glad when I hear myself share about it. I get even more clarity about what's really making it work, and really what I want, why I'm doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Bye for now.
Goodbye for now.